Go ahead.
And EMTs and operated 145 ambulances. The 78 paramedics recruited into the conspiracy were offered extraordinary compensation, $60,000 to $120,000 annually on top of their base salaries of $35,000, $45,000. Some paramedics tripled their income. The drugs were hidden in various ways. Some were concealed in medical equipment compartments, spaces designed for oxygen tanks, defibrillators, and medical supplies. Others were disguised as medical supply shipments being transported between facilities. In some cases, drugs were hidden inside actual medical equipment like portable oxygen tanks that had been modified to contain narcotics instead of oxygen. The operation also exploited ambulance companies' legitimate medical supply chains. The 12 companies regularly received shipments of medical equipment, medications, and supplies from distributors. The cartel infiltrated these supply chains, adding drug shipments to legitimate medical deliveries. When Texas health inspectors audited ambulance companies, they saw boxes labeled as gauze, IV supplies, and medications, all appearing normal, all actually containing cocaine and fentanyl. Over 4 years, the network moved an estimated $1.1 billion worth of drugs across Texas and to distribution points throughout the Southwest and beyond. The ambulances made thousands of emergency runs that were actually drug deliveries. And perhaps most disturbingly, some corrupt paramedics transported drugs while also responding to real emergencies, mixing legitimate patient care with cartel operations, endangering both their patients and their mission. The investigation that would destroy the ambulance cartel network began in March 2024 when DEA agents in San Antonio noticed an unusual pattern. Surveillance of a known cartel transfer location documented an ambulance arriving at 2:47 a.m. with lights and sirens off and transferring several large bags to waiting cartel operatives. The ambulance had no patient. The emergency was fake. DEA tracked the ambulance back to Lone Star Medical Transport, a private ambulance company in San Antonio. A records check showed the company was owned by a Delaware LLC registered to an address that didn't exist. That LLC's ownership traced through several shell companies to a Mexican investment firm with known cartel ties. The ambulance company was cartel-owned. DEA contacted FBI and formed a task force to investigate what appeared to be cartel infiltration of emergency medical services. The scope of what they discovered was shocking. Not just one company, but 12 across Texas, all with similar ownership structures, all with connections to Sinaloa financial networks. Drop a comment below. Should paramedics who use ambulances for drug trafficking lose their medical licenses permanently? What's the penalty for corrupting emergency services? And if you're not subscribed to Truth America yet, hit that button. We expose how cartels infiltrate the institutions you trust. Subscribe now. In July 2024, DEA obtained federal warrants to search several ambulances. In Unit 47 from Houston Emergency Services, agents found a hidden compartment behind a wall panel containing 28 kilograms of cocaine. The compartment was sophisticated, professionally installed, accessible only by removing a panel, and designed to be invisible during routine inspections. In Unit 89 from Dallas Medical Response, agents discovered 34 kilograms of methamphetamine hidden inside modified oxygen tank containers. The tanks looked authentic, but contained drugs instead of medical oxygen. Financial investigations revealed the 78 paramedics involved showed income and spending patterns inconsistent with their salaries. Vehicle purchases, expensive homes, and lavish vacations, all on salaries that averaged $40,000 annually. Bank records showed cash deposits and wire transfers from the shell companies that owned the ambulance services. The paramedics were being paid separately from their official salaries to avoid detection. Wiretaps authorized in August 2020. Hotel coordinators captured discussions about ambulance runs, medical deliveries, and emergency transport schedules. One conversation referenced 78 drivers on payroll across Texas. Another discussed a shipment arriving in medical supply containers at Houston facility. The evidence was overwhelming. By October 2024, DEA had identified all 78 corrupt paramedics, documented their involvement through surveillance and financial records, and gathered evidence of $1.1 billion in drug trafficking using ambulance services designed to save lives. November 12, 2024, 5 a.m. DEA tactical teams coordinated with FBI, ICE, and local law enforcement across Texas for Operation Code Red. The arrest of 78 paramedics and the seizure of 12 ambulance companies, simultaneous dawn raid spanning 7 cities. At 5:17 a.m., DEA agents executed arrest warrants. In Houston, FBI raided the headquarters of Houston Emergency Services and arrested 23 paramedics as they reported for morning shifts. The company's fleet ambulances was impounded. Agents found additional drugs hidden in medical supply warehouses. 340 kilograms of cocaine and methamphetamine stored in boxes labeled as medical equipment. In Dallas, DEA arrested 18 paramedics at Dallas Medical Response. One paramedic, Robert Chen, was actually in an ambulance preparing to respond to what appeared to be a legitimate 911 call when agents arrested him. DEA confirmed the call was real and dispatched a hospital-based ambulance to ensure the patient received care. But Chen's ambulance was searched immediately. Agents found 12 kilograms of fentanyl hidden in equipment compartments. He'd been planning to make a drug delivery during or after the emergency response. In San Antonio, agents arrested 50 paramedics at Lone Star Medical Transport. The company's owner, Marcus Rodriguez, who'd served as the primary cartel coordinator for the entire 12-company network, was arrested at his $2.8 million home. In Rodriguez's office, DEA found detailed records of drug shipments, payment ledgers for the 78 corrupt paramedics, and communications with Sinaloa operatives coordinating the entire operation. Across Texas, the arrests continued. El Paso, 12 paramedics arrested. Austin, 10 paramedics. Smaller cities, individual paramedics taken into custody at their stations or homes. By 8 a.m., all 78 paramedics and the coordinators who ran the 12 companies were in federal custody. DEA also executed search warrants on the company's medical supply warehouses. In Houston, agents seized 1.2 tons of cocaine and methamphetamine hidden in shipments labeled as medical supplies. In Dallas, 890 kilograms of fentanyl was discovered in containers marked as IV fluids and gauze. Total seizures, 2.8 tons of narcotics that had been transported using vehicles designed to save lives. The 145 ambulances operated by the 12 companies were impounded and searched. Agents found hidden compartments in 56 ambulances, professionally installed modifications designed to conceal drugs. Medical equipment was examined. Some oxygen tanks, defibrillator cases, and supply containers had been modified to carry narcotics instead of medical supplies. November 13, 2024. Attorney General Pamela Bondi held a press conference in Houston alongside DEA Administrator Ann Milgram, FBI Director Christopher Wray, and Safety Director Steve McCraw. Yesterday, federal law enforcement dismantled a Sinaloa cartel operation that corrupted emergency medical services across Texas. 78 paramedics, professionals sworn to save lives, used ambulances to transport $1.1 billion in drugs over 4 years. They made fake 911 calls to justify drug deliveries, they hid cocaine in medical equipment compartments, and they betrayed every Texan who trusted them to respond to emergencies. We've arrested all 78 paramedics, seized 12 ambulance companies, and confiscated 2.8 tons of narcotics that were being transported in vehicles designed for medical emergencies. The charges were severe: drug trafficking, conspiracy, using emergency vehicles in commission of crimes, and for coordinators, racketeering. The 78 paramedics faced 45 years in federal prison. Marcus Rodriguez and other coordinators faced life sentences. Texas revoked the medical licenses of all 78 paramedics immediately. They would never work in emergency medical services again. The Texas Department of State Health Services launched investigations into how the 12 companies had passed inspections while operating as cartel fronts. Faced with overwhelming evidence, 64 of the 78 paramedics accepted plea agreements within 6 months. They received sentences ranging from 20 to 35 years depending on their level of involvement. At sentencing hearings, several expressed remorse, though prosecutors noted that remorse came only after being caught transporting poison in ambulances. 14 defendants, including Rodriguez, went to trial in May 2025. Prosecutors presented surveillance footage of ambulances making drug transfers, GPS data showing route deviations, hidden compartments with drugs, financial records showing $67 million in cartel investment and millions in payoffs, and testimony from cooperating paramedics. Expert witnesses testified about the danger. Transporting drugs in ambulances meant that during real emergencies, patients could be exposed to narcotics, equipment could be contaminated, and the fundamental trust in emergency services destroyed. One emergency medicine physician testified, "When paramedics use ambulances to traffic drugs, they don't just commit crimes, they undermine every legitimate paramedic and every patient who needs emergency care." The jury convicted all 14 defendants on all counts. At sentencing in August 2025, Marcus Rodriguez received life in prison without parole. The judge's words were harsh. "You purchased ambulance companies, services designed to save lives, and turned them into drug delivery vehicles. You recruited 78 paramedics and corrupted the emergency medical profession. You made fake 911 calls and endangered real patients. You will die in federal prison." The other coordinators received sentences from 40 to 60 years. The remaining paramedics who'd gone to trial received 35 to 45 years each. The 12 ambulance companies were dissolved and their assets, including 145 ambulances, facilities, and equipment, were seized and sold. Proceeds went to funding legitimate emergency medical services in underserved Texas communities. Texas implemented comprehensive reforms, enhanced background checks for paramedics, random inspections of private ambulance companies, GPS monitoring of all ambulance routes with flags for deviations, and financial audits of companies to detect suspicious ownership. The state also created anonymous reporting systems for emergency medical personnel to report.
Don't forget to give a thumbs up, like, and a share. Snoop Dogg ghosted. 50 Cent's just exposed why the dog followed silent the moment Diddy documentary drop, and the reason is chilling. Source claim Kim Porter's secret memoirs hold undeniable proof of Snoop involvement activities from freak off tapes, rumors involving Tupac, accusing pulling up. Is Snoop Dogg next on the Fed's list? Who knows? According to hip hop legend and the secret documents, the secret documents and all that there, we'll see who's coming next. Is it gonna be 50 Cent's coming next? We don't know. Maybe. Maybe so. Uh-oh, Lil Boosie and know what Lil Boosie done got himself into. Uh, is it dealing with the Duke the shooter? The killing of Duke the shooter? Queen. It just might be dealing something with Duke the shooter. We don't know what's next. What it seemed like T.I. saying. Let's see here. The invisible fortress of Harris family destinies has finally speculated and imploded for nearly 2 decades. Clifford T. Harris and Tamika Tainter Harris. Wow. Yes, the formula no longer defined by success. Wow, they need God in their life. It's finna go down, people. It's finna go all the way down. And they're gonna feel the fury. They're gonna feel the fury. God, gonna feel the fury of it all. So yet their formidable empire has been dismantled not by external threat, but by a self-destructive spiral involving their son, King, the jailhouse ambush, a huge leak tape, and a sensational lawsuit that has pitted T.I. against his former association, Boosie Badass. The family longer defined by success but by crisis. The foundation of their decade-long marriage has been reduced to dust, sealed by the delivery of the from Taney to T.I. Wow, they finna get a divorce. I don't know. That is to say, whoa, what is this here in there for? 50 Cent Jay-Z as the alleged father of a daughter linked to the late Kathy White. This revelation comes amidst resurfaced rumors surrounding White's mystery death and its connection to Jay-Z, igniting a firestorm of speculation and ignitement. Interlord. Its upcoming documentary set to release next to have evidence could potentially reopen the investigation into Katie White's death, which long scrubbed and scrutiny allegations. Wow, Jay Z. Ooh wee. That's something to think about right there. But I'm telling you, all these folks need a little bit of God in their life. She wants to ruin me. Wow. Let's go in there. Why she want to ruin you, Benzino? Benzino, are who is that Buster Rhymes? That's Buster Rhymes in the back right there. Don't forget to give this a thumbs up. Don't forget to give this a thumbs up. And once you give it a thumbs up, then everything will be a new this new this new track. This new track by one of my friends. Uh, Ain't no love. Let's listen to this first. Wow. Oh, Nicki Minaj, really? Sometimes it just ain't no love in the city.
Ability cap, or what are the data terms, and get the answer in. Spellbook understands legal context, adapts to your firm's precedents and drafting style, and executes your playbooks so that you can review legal contracts 10 times faster with confidence. Trusted by over 3,000 legal teams worldwide. Try Spellbook for free for 7 days.
They really did try to kill. But with that name Joshua, that means that you are blessed, baby. At Anthony Joshua tragic car. Oh, that is something else. Oh.
And he got to keep doing this like a woman.
Amen.
I'm sitting talking to you. I want to talk to you. Not.
That's right.
Give me the 11th chapter, 1 Corinthians.
1 Corinthians 11 and verse 14.
Give chapter and verse again.
1 Corinthians chapter 11 and verse 14.
Follow me.
Doeth not even nature itself teach you?
Not nature itself teach you.
That if a man have long hair.
You cite on Pastor Jennings. I didn't write this.
No.
If a man
have long hair.
Have long hair.
It is shame.
It's embarrassing
unto him.
Unto him.
That's right. Doeth not even nature
you a
itself
grown man.
teach you?
What you doing borrowing your wife's bobby pins?
Amen.
A man in a man bun.
That's right.
The devil want our men who's made in God's image to look like the image of something they're not.
Right.
This is why society come out to make our men more and more feminine on the manhood of society. Don't you see the devil's plot? Manhood. Take away your masculinity.
That's it.
He got you walking like a woman. You want to dress like a woman.
That's right. That's right.
I did self.
Even the rappers, bang.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Old grandpa, ponytail.
That's right.
Grandpa, bangs.
Doeth not even nature itself teach?
Preachers, long plaits.
Yeah. Oh, yes.
Just moving his head around. I know Jesus is coming. I know he's coming soon. You better beware of his coming. He's coming. He's coming. He's coming.
That's right. That's right.
Am I right? I said.
And you just sit there and go,
Yeah, well, not only that, how about the fact that this guy was running this for decades? He was doing this for decades to who knows how many people, and everybody was scared to talk about it because he'd have them killed. Yeah, it's really wild, man. I think there's so many powerful people that are on those lists. There's so many powerful people that went and partied. Air quotes, partied. And how many of them went to the Diddy parties? Have you been paying attention to the trial? Oh, yeah.
Joe Rogan just explained why certain celebs went dead silent when it was time to testify against Diddy. And according to him, it's not fear, it's self-preservation. Too many powerful names are tied into the same world, and speaking up would mean exposing themselves. And Joe ain't even the first to say it. 50 Cent's been hinting at this from the jump, making it clear he's one of the few willing to talk while everyone else stays quiet. So the silence, it might be saying more than any testimony ever could.
To ask questions like, were their decisions colored by certain things, and who got the benefit of the doubt, in that courtroom?
Do you think that hip hop culture was on trial as much as Sean Combs was?
Look, if I didn't say anything, you would interpret it as the hip hop is fine with his behaviors. There's no one else being vocal. So you would look at it and just say, because that mind your business, or let me not say nothing about nothing, or those things, it would allow the entire culture to register as if they're for that behavior.
Now, attention to the low hum coming out of Hollywood lately, then none of this should really surprise you. For months now, there's been quiet but persistent talk about unreleased footage allegedly floating behind the scenes.
You're saying that there's tapes and they're being shopped?
Yes, there have been people already shopping.
We've heard about the tapes, but
yes.
The shopping thing is...
Yes, there already have been tapes leaking around Hollywood, being shopped around to individuals in Hollywood.
Not just random party clips, but recordings, illegal dealings, wild freak-offs that could seriously damage careers. We're talking big careers, household names, and word is these tapes all trace back to one place, Diddy's world. These weren't just nights of music and champagne. According to industry whispers, these were environments where lines blurred, boundaries disappeared, and cameras allegedly stayed rolling when nobody thought they were. And the wildest part, a lot of the people caught up in this didn't even know they were being filmed. Word on the street, Diddy recorded these wild acts for leverage and to keep folks in line and check to do his bidding. That's where Joe Rogan's take hits different. Turns out this wasn't about loyalty or friendship, but leverage, about people staying silent because speaking up could mean destroying themselves. And when you line that up with what 50 Cent, Jaguar Wright, and Gene Deal have all hinted at for years, the picture gets real ugly.
I sat right here and told y'all there was activity on the dark net. Videos were being distributed and were going to be sold for profit because the diddler needs the money. Did I not say that? Right here.
Yes. Those people who was caught at Diddy party did not know that he had 250 tape recorders in that house. That's a big house. But he had 250 tape recorders.
Because if Diddy really had recordings of powerful people doing things they don't want the public to ever see, then testifying wouldn't just be brave, it'd be career suicide. And when you start looking at the names that haven't testified, the silence starts making sense. Now, the first name circling the block is Stevie J. Stevie wasn't just some associate, he's bad boy DNA. He was there during the golden era, producing hits, sitting in rooms where decisions were made. At Diddy's properties, Stevie didn't distance himself. He doubled down, went online, interviews, and defended Diddy publicly, called him family.
You're hanging out with Diddy in his mansion in Miami, and Homeland Security rushes in while you're there.
While I'm there, Dolo.
You're there by yourself.
Yeah. With the, he has some.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So suddenly there's red dots all over your shirt.
Yeah. I'm like, damn, this is crazy.
That kind of loyalty raised eyebrows immediately because according to Lil Rod's lawsuit, Stevie wasn't just around, he was allegedly active. Claims suggest he helped coordinate escorts for some of those late night events, handling logistics while Diddy stayed insulated. There are even whispers about leaked clips allegedly showing Stevie involved in explicit behavior at the same gatherings, now under federal scrutiny. Yet Stevie stays loud, unafraid, almost too comfortable.
Hopefully the truth will prevail.
Yeah. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, we got to just see how it plays out.
Yeah.
I'm never going to stop being there for consider to be a friend to me.
As you should.
I'm not going to turn my back. And it's like, I've been scrutinized just by being a friend. I guess someone never had a true friend before.
And that's why people are asking, is that confidence or is it fear loyalty. Now, another name popping up is Cuba Gooding Jr. Cuba and Diddy have been seen together for years, smiling it up at events, yacht trips, industry vacations. But things shifted when Lil Rod's lawsuit landed, because suddenly Cuba's name wasn't just floating, it was printed in legal paperwork. According to the complaint, Diddy introduced Lil Rod to Cuba during a yacht trip in the Virgin Islands. What followed, Rod claims, serious lines, unwanted touching, repeated advances, and ignored boundaries. Cuba denies all of it, saying he woke up to a nightmare headline he never expected.
How do you fully escape it, though? Like your name, for example, was mentioned in the Diddy case.
Which was the most ridiculous thing ever.
Because you barely know
This is the most ridiculous thing ever. But again, welcome to being a celebrity. Welcome to my world.
But the public reaction wasn't sympathy, but suspicion, especially when Cuba publicly offered prayers and support for Diddy right before his sentencing. In a moment where most people were distancing themselves, Cuba leaned in. And in court of public opinion, that kind of timing doesn't look accidental. Then there's Usher, and his story might be one of the most disturbing. Usher lived with Diddy as a teenager. That ain't rumor, it's documented. And for years, he's spoken carefully about that time, saying what he witnessed was curious.
Moved to New York City, and I lived with Sean Puffy Combs for a year.
That's the crazy thing. Now, that was L.A. Reid's idea, right? We're sending you
New
over
York
to something
City.
called Puffy Flavor Camp.
There you go.
To learn
Flavor
some...
Camp.
Yeah,
Flavor
that's what it
Camp.
was called. And you're going to go to Puff Daddy's. He's going
In the 90s, do you understand what that's like?
Puffy's place was like just filled with chicks and orgying like nonstop,
I
right?
was curious. I got a chance to see some things.
Yeah, but you were 13. What were you
I
seeing?
went there to see the lifestyle,
right?
And I saw it, and it was, but I don't know if I could indulge and understand what I was even looking at. It was pretty wild. It was.
But it got darker when he hinted he'd never allow his own children to experience what he did.
Did you ever send your kid to Puffy Camp?
At the time, those comments sounded vague. Now they sound like regret, because once you stack that with other allegations and then bring Justin Bieber into the picture, the pattern gets impossible to ignore. Justin was just 13 when he entered Diddy's orbit. Old footage shows Diddy bragging about having 48 hours with him, saying what they did couldn't be discussed.
Check this out, yo. Justin, you ever seen the movie 48 Hours? Right now, he's having 48 hours with Diddy, him and his boy. They're having the times of their lives, like, you know, where we hanging out and what we doing. We can't really disclose, but it's definitely a 15-year-old's dream. You know, I have been given custody of him. You know, he signed to Usher.
Who signed to Usher?
I had legal guardianship of Usher when you know he did his first album. I did Usher's first album. I don't have legal guardianship of him, but for the next 48 hours, he's with me. So and we gonna go full crazy.
I'm going crazy.
Crazy.
Back then, people laughed it off as industry jokes. Today, that clip feels chilling, especially when you consider Justin's later breakdowns, his struggles with addiction, his isolation, decision to quietly cut off people tied to his early career, and emotional interviews about betrayal.
It was hard for me being that young and being in the industry and not knowing where to turn, and everyone, you know, telling me they love me and, you know, just turn their back on you in a second.
Justin Bieber unfollowed his former manager, Scooter Braun, on Instagram, which sounds really
sort of very high school.
But it is a big deal, especially for celebrities. And then the really surprising thing is after Justin did that, Scooter deactivated his entire Instagram account.
Even his recent efforts to protect younger artists like Billie Eilish feel less random when viewed through this lens.
I just want to protect her, you know? I don't want her to go through anything I went through and wish that upon anybody. Yeah, if she ever needs me, I'm just a call away.
And it's not just internet speculation. Public figures like Candace Owens have openly questioned what really happened to Justin behind closed doors, suggesting his clean-cut image was masked and far darker.
We have Justin Bieber must speak about this, you guys. He's apparently unfollowed all of his closest Hollywood managers, even the BodyGuard, in a sign that some people are saying is more evidence of the Diddy fallout.
Jaguar Wright has gone even further, accusing Usher of knowing exactly what was happening and staying silent anyway.
Actually, someone made reference to the fact that Diddy trying to get at Bieber the way he was trying to get at Bieber was looking a little predatory. And then Usher came in and discovered it and managed him and got custody of him and promised to look after him. and then he sent him to the diddler.
So when the Diddy trial came up and Usher and Justin kept it hush-hush, folks knew something shady really went on behind the scenes. Next up, the name spinning through the mix is Bryshere Gray. Empire fans remember him as a breakout star, but his fall was sudden, messy, and brutal. Arrests, mental health spirals, career collapse. According to claims from people like Terrence Howard and Jaguar Wright, Bryshere was allegedly pulled into circles he wasn't prepared for. Circles involving Diddy, Will Smith, and other powerful figures.
They trying to send him out so he'll feel too embarrassed to file his lawsuit against me for what Will and Diddy did to him. With Jaden and Justin present, that tape exists.
Bryshere himself has reportedly accused industry players of sabotage and psychological harm, claiming he was used up and discarded once he stopped being profitable. Now let's talk about Naomi Campbell. Her name surfaces every time Diddy and Epstein are mentioned in the same breath. Private islands, elite guest lists, NDAS. The same dark rumors that followed Epstein are now being whispered about Diddy's properties, and Naomi's presence keeps coming up. Some claim she wasn't just attending events, but allegedly helping facilitate introductions under the guise of modeling opportunities, promises of careers, silence contracts, and access traded for obedience. Naomi has denied wrongdoing, even claiming ignorance about Epstein's crimes.
The paper does manage to make it clear that you were not aware of Epstein activities. Did you know who he was?
Yes, I knew him. I was introduced to him on my 31st birthday by my ex-boyfriend Flavio. He was always front and center at Victoria's Secret shows.
Did you suspect what he was doing?
No. And what he's done is indefensible. And when I heard of what he'd done, it sickened me to my stomach, just like everybody else.
But fans aren't buying it. They point to her body language, her deflection, and ability to survive scandals without consequence. One user put it bluntly, saying, "Her body language says it all. She knew." Another wrote, "She is anything but innocent." And when you add in the rumors that she and Diddy dated in the early 2000s, plus footage of him flying to London with young Miami just to surprise her on bagging her doctorate, the connection feels deeper than cat. Then there's Jay-Z. For years, Jay and Diddy moved like twin moguls. Same parties, same circles, same power. Jaguar Wright famously said they were inseparable like peanut butter and jelly until Diddy caught Rico heat.
Tell me something. When you have a peanut butter jelly sandwich, if it's just peanut butter, it's just peanut butter. If it's just jelly, it's jelly. When you put it together, it becomes a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, and the taste is undeniable.
Mm-hmm. You saying Diddy and Jay-Z is peanut butter jelly?
Peanut butter and jelly.
That's when Jay went quiet. He distanced himself fast. And while he's already dodged one major legal essay bullet, folks are watching closely. Because if Diddy decides to talk, Jay's name won't stay out of the convo forever. And finally, Meek Mill. The rumors around Meek have been relentless. Claims he was one of Diddy's favorites. Meek has denied it loudly, even jumping on no Diddy rhetoric online.
What's up? Yeah, y'all already know we playing out this real life. Real life. No Diddy gang, Meek Mill in real. You talk that shit, Meek. Yeah, Meek.
But the chatter never really faded. At one point, Lil Rod hinted at a Philly rapper who once dated Nicki Minaj, and nobody had to guess who he was talking about. Meek's reaction online only poured fuel on it, going on emotional rants about being a real king from the trenches and blaming fake accounts and bots for trying to drag his name, and even threatening folks like academics who talked about it.
We got a lawsuit. So the Lil Rod lawsuit we got.
Yeah, I read through the whole thing.
And it didn't mention Meek by name, but there was a footnote.
A Philly rapper who used to date Nicki Minaj.
It was like a Jeopardy question.
Who is that? There could only be one person on the planet. Unless there's a Philly rapper that also dated Nicki that no one knows about, it's obviously Meek Mill.
He says, "I'm gonna kill you, academics," and what I'm gonna do is, he says, first things first, he says, "Someone send me academics' address."
Right. He said, "I'll die to shut you down."
Yeah, then he says, "I'm going to die to do it."
But the internet wasn't convinced. Folks said it didn't sound like confidence. It sounded like damage control. Then, out of nowhere, clips started popping up. Meek lay back poolside with Diddy, looking way too relaxed for someone claiming there was nothing there.
Hey, what's up, King Son? Man, you doing it, man. You deserve it, Daddy. You putting in that work. Proud of you. I love you. Yeah.
Then, audio leaks allegedly showing intimate energy between him and Diddy. What? If that recording is real, it explains everything. The silence, panic, because they support Diddy. They're quiet because talking would destroy them. So who's staying silent to protect themselves? And who's next to get exposed? Are these celebs, victims, accomplices, or both? And if ever Diddy talks, whose legacy collapses first? Drop your thoughts in the comments, hit like and subscribe, and don't miss the next video on your screen. It gets even crazier.